Hello ladies and gents, welcome back to week 3 of my review of the Elegant Stylist program. If you haven't reviewed week 1, week 2, week 2.2, I would highly encourage you to do so, just because the whole methodology of Anna's program is each week should build on top of what you learned last week. So if this is the first video, I highly encourage you to go look at those other ones first. Now in this particular week, we are diving deep into inspection and how we should inspect garments, and that will determine whether we think something is of good value or not good value, because basically by the end of this particular week we can see that it doesn't just mean that you have to shop at one brand, one designer, or only high-end items. When you can break down what makes an item valuable, you'll be able to then go and conduct yourself accordingly. So as I mentioned, this week we are focusing all on inspection, and basically there is 5 different elements that we should consider when we're inspecting an item. This week's lesson promises to improve your intuition when it comes to styling, and this is important because we want to make the smartest investments with our money, and also because we want to be able to decipher what looks expensive and what looks cheap, and what looks elegant and what does not. Anna dissects these 5 elements in 5 masterclass style videos, so it makes it quite digestible. The first thing we often look at when we are looking at an item is the color of it. And in turn, we need to be asking ourselves questions such as if this color even suits us. We should be asking ourselves, how should we wear these colors, and what colors are an absolute no-no for us. I love this particular lesson, especially in the level up, elegance, femininity space, because so many people, so many creators in this space tend to just talk about wearing neutrals and how that can make you look expensive. And I don't deny that, it definitely can. But you have to admit, it does get a little bit lackluster, boring, and you end up getting a certain type of uniform for the caricature of people who want to look a little bit more leveled up, maybe a little bit more old money, etc. And it seems quite boring and bland. Anna goes through the pros and cons of wearing colors and what messages get conveyed when you wear certain colors. To quote, color doesn't need to make you look like a clown. And so if you're somebody that you're looking to experiment a little bit with color and you don't have that styling ability, maybe this will be a portion of the course that will really intrigue you and you'll learn a lot from. From here, Anna goes through a brief overview of color theory. In my case, this is something that I was actually quite versed with beforehand, as I used to work as a hairstylist, and one needs to understand color theory fully in order to color hair. If you're unfamiliar with color theory, it would be really beneficial for you to just type into YouTube and look up the basics of color theory, and then you'll be able to grasp what we learned in this lesson a little bit more. The benefits of learning color theory is it will allow you to see that there are many colors that can work for you, but it's about getting the right tone of color or the right color family or the right tones of color family. And this will help you no matter what complexion you fall under. However, there will be some things that you need to take into consideration. This will be things like your hair color, your eye color, and more. Anna then teaches us some tips and tricks that will allow us to wear certain colors even if it's not a part of the tone family that works well for you. One of these tricks is to wear a scarf. So say I had a color on that didn't really do much for me. I can wear a scarf in a color that does work for me, and so it's closer to my skin, and then it's not jarring between my hair color, my skin tone, and the color that doesn't work for me. Hopefully that makes sense. Anna then moves into the different ways that we can wear colors in our outfits. Monochrome, color blocking, and more. Anna also explains which one of the ways that we can utilize color in our outfits is great for beginner people and people that are a little bit more advanced. So this is great because it allows you to assess where you should start off and maybe where is the best use of your money. At the end of the day, time is money and money is money. So if you're starting off with something that's a little bit more advanced and you're not there, you might not be able to pair these outfits, these combinations of items together appropriately if you're starting off somewhere where maybe it's a bit too advanced. So I did like how she broke this part down. Swiftly moving on, the next thing that we looked at was print. I love that this was covered because, again, you can tend to get a lot of the regurgitated advice in the level up, more elegance, classy, old money space as per what is elegant and what is not. And one of the things that I'll often hear is that, you should just wear solid colors. And I am someone who leans towards more solid colors. However, when I share something or someone that I deem as elegant and maybe they've got something with more prints on it, people will say, oh, that's so not elegant. And I think that's because we tend to, one, see the same regurgitated advice, and two, the same information is getting shared, and we have an idea of what is elegant in our head when it's so much broader than that. I think what I'm trying to say is that we often think the stereotypical example is the be-all and end-all. But we learn in this lesson that print can be elegant. We just need to know how to wear it. Print goes hand in hand with color. And this is because print is just a play on colors. Anna goes through to tell us how some prints are less confusing than others. For example, polka dots, they're a bit more elementary, and so they're quite easy to style. But first, there's method to her madness. We must take what we've learned in color theory into consideration before we can assess if a certain print is good for us or not. The second thing that we need to take into consideration is our stature. Shorter people should wear smaller prints, and then taller people should wear bigger prints, although prints can be a bit more forgiving on someone that is taller as opposed to someone shorter. And it also reminds us how we should take our personality types into consideration with the types of prints that we choose. Essentially, we need to think of the overall harmony between not only the outfits and the color and the prints, but also who we are and how we show up in the world. Speaking of harmony, Anna then goes into how we can style prints elegantly based off of our body types. Because obviously a person who is bottom heavy will have to wear prints differently to a person that might be more triangular shaped on the top. One thing that I really learned in this portion of the course is print clashing can be elegant. I cannot stand, for the most part, print clashing. So the way that this section of the course was described, I'm actually quite intrigued and quite determined to see if I can do some type of print clashing that still looks elegant. Although I still don't think it's going to be something that I personally prefer, I feel like it's going to be a great challenge for me, and I can really implement the things that I'm learning and maybe find a middle ground to play with. Now, my friends, this video is getting a little bit long, so I am going to separate it into two sections again. Now, if you want to see what gets discussed in the workbook, I don't show the workbook over on Patreon. However, I do discuss what is in the workbook and how I'll be implementing it. So if you want to go follow along there, I will have a link for it for you in the description box down below. And then I'm literally going to film part 2 right now of my notes. I hope you'll join me. Thanks for watching.